It's Ivy Slater, and you're listening to Her Success Story podcast, a show where gutsy businesswomen share their success journey. Hi, this is Ivy Slater, and welcome to today's episode of Her Success Story. So I have a fabulous women duo today. So we're doing it a little differently. We have Lisa Ascolese. Lisa is an inventor, a leader. She is the CEO and founder of a company called Inventing A to Z. She is the author of a book, The Inventress's Guide to Inventing the Right Way. She's also written a children's book, and Olivia, her granddaughter, might be joining us for a few minutes and sharing a little bit about that. She has truly guided women and made a difference in the women's not only inventors and entrepreneurs' journey, from working with the everyday woman who has something to get that's a passion, to incredibly famous women who have made an impact in what they're inventing, in the businesses they're growing. Lisa has done an enormous amount. She has patents. I could go on and on, but it's more interesting listening to Lisa than listening to me talk about Lisa. So Lisa and Olivia, thank you for joining me on Her Success Story.
Oh, thank you so much, Ivy, for having us. We appreciate it. Thanks for having us. And Olivia, thank you for being with me today. I appreciate you too. This is so much fun. This is different for us, but this is what we do as women. We make things happen, right?
We do. And it's very, and I will give the opening antidote is Lisa is babysitting Olivia this morning, and I'm babysitting my granddaughter, Sydney, who happens to be down for a nap. Otherwise, we'd have a foursome going, and we can talk more about the children's book than the Inventress's book. So Lisa, share how this all got started for you, because being a leader in the inventing space is not something I've actually ever interviewed before.
Well, I think all of us are inventors. We have a little bit of an inventor in every single one of us. I know that for a fact. I happen to have been doing it since I'm 9 years old, just coming up with solutions for my day-to-day issues at 9 years old, right? Day-to-day problems at 9 years old. So what I would do is I would take anything that didn't work for me and make it work. And of course, I didn't know I was inventing. I was a kid, but all I knew was I was taking things apart, redesigning pieces and products, and that brought me into adulthood. So the first stint into the real inventing and manufacturing space, and I'm skipping over a lot, prototyping and all those things, was
Sure.
I had my first child. I was relatively young, and I was very, very embarrassed to nurse in front of anybody. So I created a product called the Bosom Buddy Breastfeeding Cape. So I manufactured that, about 2,500 units of those pieces, and did snail mail and walked into stores.
Oh, I remember
Did
that.
it all the wrong way.
Products, yeah.
Marketed all the wrong way until I found out the right way to do it. And so that was the first really foot into the understanding world of product development patents, because I had to do it. I had to figure it out.
And the whole patent process is a huge learning curve.
Absolutely. And I mean, you have to find out who you can trust. Who can I trust? Is there a patent attorney around I can use, who I can trust, who I can have a conversation with and know he has my best interest at heart? And so that was very, very difficult. But here I am over 35 years later.
So tell me, now this so you've invented numerous things. I know you have numerous patents over the years. And then you stepped into the place of, I figured this out and I can help others figure this out, because it's not an easy process. The first time inventor, it's not an easy process. How did that transform?
Not at all. And no one knows how do you trust someone the same way I felt? So once I really had my sea legs, if you will, I said, I'm going to help any woman out there who needs help, and any man out there who needs help in developing a product, from a napkin idea all the way to the marketplace. And as I say, everything in between, the right way. And so how this transformed was I made a lot of mistakes. I gave people my ideas without having non-disclosure agreements, had people copy my products and put them out there, because I was very, very trusting. And I still hear that. I still hear people saying to me, oh, I presented my product to such and such. And I said, why? To a major company. But why would you do that? You're not protected. You're not
protected.
So I learned.
That IP piece, I've had actually on the other side of this, I've worked with an enormous amount of IP attorneys as clients and scaling their law firms.
Mhm.
And it is really important in trademarks and intellectual property and patents that when we have something new and amazing, that you have it protected. And we are so excited, as the originator, or for as in your world, the inventor, we're so excited about it. We just want to get it out, and we want to see it happen, and we step into that place of trust.
Yes, absolutely. And it's really who do you? And there's not many of me out here. And I mean, my goal has always been to see other people succeed, to see women inventors succeed, to see that underdog succeed, because I literally was one of those people. So I looked everywhere for help and no one, literally. I had doors closed in my face and there was nowhere. So again, going back to, I said, once I understand the terrain and what to do, I'm going to teach it. So I started literally speaking on the topic of inventing at different universities and schools and elementary schools, and just had the good fortune to meet Dionne Warwick, who's a mentor of mine, good friend of mine. She introduced me to all of the East Orange school districts through her best friend, who was a superintendent of schools. So I started teaching there and helping those young minds.
And I'm going to just say, when you refer to East Orange, we're talking about New Jersey.
East Orange, New Jersey. Yes.
New Jersey. Okay, for our global audience, and right, the metropolitan New York and surrounding areas, I was like, yeah, East Orange. Like, oh, I better clarify this.
Yes, East Orange, New Jersey. East Orange, New
And
Jersey.
Diana Warwick had contacts there because that was her background.
That was her background. That's where she lived. In fact, and she still lives there. So one of the houses she lives in, and they just named a street after her in East Orange, New Jersey.
How lovely!
But yes, what an incredible honor for her, and she so deserves it. So Dionne Warwick, an inventor. I mean, so many of us out there develop products, and I call them mental inventions that we don't know how to get off the ground. But as we talked about, mental inventions. But as we speak, everybody has something, and they, I say, invent it. Why not make it you? But come to me, and I'll help you get it done.
Olivia, at any time you want to step in color for a bit, it is yours. You could do anything you'd like. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Ivy. That's a good idea. Thank you. Are you going to color something for Miss Ivy? I love it. Women's Week.
You know what? This might not be coming out in March and International Women's Month, but I think basically, Lisa and I, you and I just decided International Women's Month is every month and every day.
And every day. That's for sure. That is for sure. I gotta love it for sure.
So you have done, I'm going to go back to all the things you're doing and everything you've done in your 30 some odd year career. But in this time, let's acknowledge what we're talking about. You have several children, you have grandchildren, navigating, especially in those early years, and you and I are peers in this time period. Navigating in those early years, women were not accepted in the same way, especially as mothers. Mothers, it's like, no, good mothers stay home. I remember that being said to my face. You can't be a good mother and run a business. I was told that.
Yeah,
How
how
did
could
you
right?
navigate those early years?
Impossible.
How did you navigate those early years with kids and still inventing and building your world and your
I have to
businesses?
tell you, I think our minds are very similar. I just walked through it. I did what I really needed to do. I had to do it. I mean, I was in a position where I could be at home and I could work and I had, some help around me. So I was able to do it. And I desired doing it. I desired to do it. I
Yes.
had to.
Yeah, my passion was so strong that all the naysayers out there, to use an old expression, I just was like, I tuned it out because
Oh yeah.
I knew in my heart I could. I said, I know I can, and then I know I will, and I know I can do everything well.
I
'Cause
can, I
I
must, I
desire
will.
to.
That's right. If it's your choice, you will get it done. You will get it done, no matter what. Anything is possible. All things are possible. Look at these women innovators out there. Look at Oprah. Look at Michelle Obama. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. For those who thought things were impossible, the possible has been written. and keeps on happening, you know?
That it is so true. And as we see women owning our value, stepping
Mhm.
into our light, and seeing possibility everywhere.
For sure. Listen, look what we're doing today. We have Olivia here in the background. You have your grandchildren sleeping. We do what we need to do. Was that a different? That was a twist. We didn't know we were going to do this, right? But we're making it happen. And it's a part
We
of our lives. You're
and it's a
asking
part of our lives. We made decisions at the beginning of this podcast when we saw we're both navigating a few things. Like, okay, instead of saying this is going to be a problem, both of us showed up and say how we're going to navigate. How can we navigate it with ease?
That's right. And this is life. This is real. This is real. This is what it's not what you see on social media. All the fine stuff that's perfect. Olivia's making noise in the background and Whitney's over there playing the piano. But this is real. This is what I love about this podcast too, by the way. It's authentic, it's genuine. I talk about that all the time.
Exactly.
Nobody's world is perfect. There's no perfect silence, right?
Yeah, when we look for perfection, and this is interesting in creation, right? In creating things, creating businesses, creating concepts. When we look for perfection, I see we get stopped,
Mhm.
right? When we look for a solution to a problem, I see we move through things.
Yes.
So now you're still inventing, I believe, but you've run a conference for 11 years for women on inventing and entrepreneurship. Your most recent book. Share a little bit about the transformation of your career to where it is today. That's a big question.
I have
I'll own that one.
it's a biggie. It's a biggie. So, I mean, from inventing, doing my consultations on a one-on-one level to saying, you know what, I need to do this, sorry, on a grander level. So I started speaking at conferences, women's conferences. I was hired by Essence, Ebony, you name it. Excuse me, a little bit quieter for us, Olivia, please. We're on set. You're used to being on set. Do you know Olivia does come on with us motivational Mondays and the podcast and things like that?
Yeah.
And right now she's working on a puzzle. So she's innovating over here herself. So, just speaking on the big levels where I'm speaking at different conferences and doing keynote speaking, I said, you know what, I have to kind of bring in my business, my consulting business, and make my own conference so I could cater to all women. And now it's men too, the Association of Women Inventors and Entrepreneurs. So what happens at our conferences is we have incredible women like yourself, and some men come on stage and share their stories. And what do our stories do? They inspire. I took my consulting and all of my experiences in going out and speaking at different conferences and created my own, a musically inspired conference that uplifts and inspires everybody, not just inventors. This year I do have authors and switching gears a little bit, but staying on the same page. I wrote two books, yes, in 2024. Yes, yes, yes. So the Inventress's Guide to Inventing the Right Way, All or Nothing, Now or Never, because it was necessary. I mean, this is what I talk about. This is what I teach. Thank you, sweetheart. I do need this pencil because I'm going to show something to Miss Ivy. So at the end of each chapter, I've written a positive affirmation. So there's 10
Oh, I
chapters, and
love
after
that.
every chapter, because learning can be daunting, right? Learning new things can be daunting. So I wanted to keep.
I struggle. I will tell you, I was not an easy learner. So I happen to love that. In my own books, every book has worksheets at the end of each chapter, because
Yeah.
to me, just consuming all the knowledge, I don't retain it.
Yes.
But the concept of putting an affirmation, something to slow it down, anchor it. Oh my goodness, you and I are the two peas in a pod.
Yes, indeed. It's about journaling the journey, having a good time reading it, pausing by reading something positive because it is a lot. So it's like, USA. Now I learned, now let me read something positive and let's journal it. Let's journal it.
Yeah.
So
And,
then,
and capture the essence of the practical and the creative moments.
yes, 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 yes. And while I was at it, I said, let me write two books at the same time. So one after another, I finished this up and I said, you know what? The story behind my favorite book of lullabies is I sing to Olivia every day. I sang to my children every day. I sang lullabies to Olivia even last night when she slept over. And I say to Olivia, what's your favorite lullaby? She says, I love you, or Winking and Nodding. These are all songs I sang to my children. These are original songs. So I said, why not put it in a book? And Olivia literally knows every song in the book. And now I have three granddaughters, Isla, Ivy, and Olivia, twins. And this is for them. This is for them. This is for them. Right, Olivia?
So when we think, very often, you know, Lisa, when we think about inventing, we think about origination, we think about beginnings of ideas. And that word came out very New York-esque, ideas.
You said it.
We don't always think about, you know, the books we write, the other things, our intellectual property, our concepts, and inventing. What we think about products, but inventing is so much more.
Absolutely.
What have you seen in some of the people you have guided? And what
Oh
have
my,
you learned as a woman in the process?
so much from women in particular. I see moms innovate. They don't even realize they're innovating. Those are my greatest clients, I have to tell you, because it's a constant thing when you turn into a mother. We're all mothers, right? From the day we're born as women, but they're just constantly innovating, and it blows my mind because that's really where I started as a child, creating innovation. And as a mother, forget about it. When it came to motherhood, all I was doing was inventing. I saw my daughters invent while they were pregnant, mentally invent,
Yeah,
mentally mentally invent. So Olivia's singing the lullaby book right now, I have to tell you.
we can't hear her.
Okay.
She'll sing to us at the end.
Okay. So
So tell me, what has surprised you in this? From being a young inventor to building a career of inventing and then a career of mentoring inventors.
many things. Okay, so what surprised me the most, I think, is that I got my foot through the doors of QVC television, that I'm there, and
Woo-hoo, go girl.
and there was a yes after many no's, that I'm there. And there was that yes. So did that surprise me? It surprised the heck out of me because I never even imagined. I really didn't. And
Yeah.
I think the impossible is possible. I really think usually, but for that, I was like, I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. And it was a yes. It was a yes after yes after yes after yes. So that surprised me with myself. What surprises me with other people is sometimes their inability to believe in themselves, right? It surprises me a lot that many women do not believe in who they are. And what happens while I'm consulting and working with these people is I see the evolution and the revolution come about. They finally had that aha moment to go, yes, I am, and I can. I am somebody who can do something great. I am a person who is my great authentic self. This is what really, it's amazing to watch.
Yeah.
It's amazing
It
to
is
watch
so
somebody
beautiful
develop
to
product.
see
Mm-hmm.
people we work with
Mm-hmm.
truly step into their light
Yes.
and grow and watch in their eyes as they see that what we see in them is actually possible.
It's possible. It's possible. And I mean, this is also I'm having my conference in May, by the way. The Association of Women Inventors and Entrepreneurs is coming up in May, and my inventors will be on stage. Those inventors who didn't think they could create a product are on stage now talking about what they did. They're marketing it. I'm putting them on my television shopping network. I'm trying to get them on QVC and on HSN. So it's really it's an amazing thing to watch people grow. Grow.
If you have one tip to pass down, and I know that's a big one because I know you're filled with so much knowledge here, from your experience, from going through this journey as a woman in building an incredible organization that has touched so many. And listeners, I'm going to say if you're listening to this, take a moment and read Lisa's full bio below because it is astounding and incredibly impressive. What one tip you would pass down to our listeners today?
When you rise, make sure you put your hand down and lift somebody else up. As you rise, because you will, as you rise, really important, put that other hand down because one hand is always going to be reaching up. Take another hand, put it down, and lift another person back up. Okay? Live your authentic self. Live your best authentic self, because that's who's going to succeed. You. There's only one you.
I love that. And it's look in the mirror to me and see and say, I can, I will, I do, and nothing stops me.
Amen.
And please, Lisa, I love what you're saying, because it's as we're growing, take somebody along.
Yes.
Take somebody along, lift somebody else up,
Yeah.
continue to pass on. And, that's how we continue to leave a legacy and make a long-term difference.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really is. Lifting each other up 2 hands at a time. As I say, sometimes you got to use your foot. I usually put my foot up, but I have a dress on.
Yeah. Sometimes you use your foot. Sometimes you use your foot to kick somebody and say, come on.
Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Come on. New Yorkers.
Come on. Well, Lisa, I cannot thank you enough for joining me here today on Her Success Story. This is an interview that is unprecedented. I have Sydney kind of outside my door waiting for Grandma. Olivia, you're going to show me as we sign off what you colored today for us. Listeners, this is what I say at this point in the show. Take a deep breath. Think about one takeaway, one aha that made a difference for you. And in that write it down somewhere, take it forward, and make the decision of what you're going to do about it. And may this show make an impact in your journey. Thank you for joining us here today with Lisa and I on Her Success Story.